Tottenham Hotspur star Harry Kane has come out and said if Spurs finish in a Europa Conference League spot, he would like to go on to win the competition to end the 15-year trophy drought. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. This is another episode of Tottenham News where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Now let's start with some very interesting quotes from Tottenham Hotspur star and of course England captain Harry Kane talking about the Europa Conference League spot in the Premier League. Harry Kane said we've got 3 games left, a big game against Aston Villa next week away. Obviously Brighton have a few games in hand on us. If we come away from this season with European football, that's a small prize at the end of a tough season. We'll be fighting for that and fighting in the 3 games to try and pick up 3 wins. Harry Kane then went on to say, ultimately, I like to play football games no matter what the competition is. That's what you deserve from where you finish in the season. He then went on to say, you can't disrespect any competition that you play in. It's one of those, if you end up in the Europa Conference League and win it, it is worth it. If you don't, then people probably look at it as an inconvenience. But when you've been at a club where you haven't won a trophy for 15 years, if we do end up in it, it could be an opportunity to try and put that to bed. Harry Kane then went on to talk about Ryan Mason and said we're all behind him. We know the club is in a situation where I spoke about getting some of the values back. I feel like Ryan brings all of those attributes. He's been here through the academy. He knows what it's like as a fan. He knows what it's like to play here. With that attitude and that desire, he brings a great enthusiasm to the coaching role here. Ultimately, it will be down to the chairman, Daniel Levy, and the club, what they decide. But for these 3 games, we're fully behind him to try to improve and to try and win and see what happens. If I end up speaking to the chairman towards the end of the season, then I'm sure he will fill me in what he is thinking. But ultimately, we've got 3 more games. We don't want to look too far ahead and don't want to get carried away. The club will make the best decision for everyone, for the players, the fans, for the club in general. So we will have to wait and see what it is. Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Pierre-Emile Højbjerg has come out and said that the club need to do all they can to keep Harry Kane at the club for next season. He said Harry Kane is one of those players who will be in the record books in the history for a very long time. It is important also for Harry to understand he has a big responsibility, and also I think the club has a big responsibility to make sure the scenario for him is the best possible. Now, my thoughts on Harry Kane's comments, now particularly about the Europa Conference League. I tell you what, if Spurs finish 7th this season and we get a Europa Conference League spot, I hope the club do take it seriously. I said this last time we were in the competition. I've also said it when we were in the Europa League. I personally feel that there are a lot of Spurs fans who are very snobby about these competitions, and it is just all about the Champions League. I believe whatever competition that Tottenham are in, we should take it seriously. We should go all out to win these competitions. And as Harry Kane has finally come out and said, we haven't won a trophy in 15 years. And I think it's about time that we did take these competitions seriously. I personally think that if Spurs took the Europa Conference League seriously, we would go on to be serious contenders and perhaps win the competition. And I hope to see that one day. I'm sure that Harry Kane is probably feeling that way at the moment, thinking, we haven't won a Champions League. Of course, we come so close in 2019, 4 years ago today, actually. We went through to the Champions League final. Lucas Moura, of course, with that hat-trick at Ajax. But we come so close to winning the ultimate prize. We've also come so close under Mauricio Pochettino to win the Premier League. That didn't happen. In the last 4 years, we've gone round in circles as a football club. Some poor decisions have been made. We haven't moved forward as a football club. And I'm sure Harry Kane is feeling it right now, thinking that, when am I going to win a trophy at Tottenham? If it is his last season at the club next season, his contract runs out in the summer of 2024. If he stays at Tottenham next season and we are playing Europa Conference League football, I am sure as a football club, and I'm sure probably he will have this conversation with whoever is the manager, and of course Daniel Levy as the chairman. I'm sure that he will probably have those conversations and saying, look, if I'm going to stay for this final year, I want a real crack of trying to win a competition and trying to win a trophy, particularly that this may be or could be my last year. So if Spurs are in the Europa Conference League, I personally hope that we go all out to win it. I was very disappointed when I travelled out to Portugal to that Pacos de Ferreira game where we lost 1-0. Of course, that was the first game in the competition. And we didn't really take it seriously. We put second-rate teams out. Yes, it's a good opportunity for a lot of the younger players as well. But you can gauge it per game. I think when you're up against good opposition, you need to put a few more first-team players in there. I think that's the manager's choice. But I've absolutely no doubt that Harry Kane will be saying, look, if we're going to be in this competition, let's go for it. Let's take it seriously. And let's finally put a trophy in the cabinet after 15 long years. On the manager's situation, Harry Kane has spoken out about Ryan Mason. Of course, they are best friends. Harry Kane is always going to give, absolutely everything for his friend Ryan Mason and his boss now, Ryan Mason. And I think as the games are going on, I think that a lot of Spurs fans are having a lot more confidence in Ryan Mason's ability. Tactically, I thought he was excellent against Crystal Palace. Of course, we got the first win under Ryan Mason. We've had 3 games under him so far. He's had a very, very short time to work with these players. I know he knows a lot of the players anyway, but for him to instill his beliefs and his philosophy of how we want to play, etc. After the Newcastle game, you saw him, or during the Newcastle game, you saw him having a go at Stellini on the sidelines. Say, no, we can't do this anymore. We can't play like this, which I thought was very, very telling. But that first game against Manchester United at home, of course, we came back from 2-0 down. I think the club, and I think a lot of people will see that as a very, very positive step that we were 2-0 down. We showed character and belief to come back, and Ryan Mason was a big part of that. The Liverpool game, of course, we went 3-0 down. We came back to draw 3-3. I think a lot of people will see a lot of positives in that as well. Of course, we lost the game in the dying seconds, which was a big, big shame. But overall in these 3 games, Manchester United, Liverpool and Crystal Palace, I think that people are starting to have more belief in Ryan Mason's ability as a manager. And a lot of fans have been saying, we want a young manager, we want a project, we want someone who loves the club, we want someone who, believes in the project, will be around, for a long time. And I'm starting to even think myself that Ryan Mason actually ticks a lot of these boxes. I know there'll be a lot of people saying, no, we don't want him. He's not experienced enough. He's not this, he's not that. But I think as time goes on, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if Spurs made this appointment of Ryan Mason in the summer, next month. Because if these next 3 results and performances are fairly decent, and Ryan Mason guides us into a Europa League or a Europa Conference League spot, I believe that a lot of people will see that as a positive step forward. And of course, he knows a lot of the players as well. He is Tottenham Hotspur through and through. If you want somebody who loves the club, if you want somebody who absolutely adores the club and wants a trophy at the club, then I think Ryan Mason is definitely the man. I know a lot of people will be shouting now saying, no, we want Julian Nagelsmann, we want Luis Enrique, blah, blah, blah. But when you look back over recent years, particularly when we sacked Pochettino in 2019, we've gone round in circles. We've appointed 2 win-now managers. And of course, we also appointed Nuno Espirito Santo in the middle of that, which of course didn't work out. We waited 72 days for a manager and we got Nuno in. So we've gone through managers, and I think now it is time to move forward as a football club. And these next 3 games are going to be very, very interesting. I'm personally hoping that we do get a European spot. I know there are a lot of fans saying we need to just be out of Europe for a season. We need to finish 8th. I don't agree with that whatsoever. I believe that we need to be in a European competition, as Harry Kane has now come out and said. But I've been saying for years, whatever competition we are in, we cannot be snobby about it. Let's go take it seriously. Let's go and try and win it, and let's go and put a trophy in the cabinet, regardless of what competition it is, what it's called, what the trophy looks like. Harry Kane needs a trophy. All of us need some glory. All of us need success, and all of us right now need a smile on our faces. So, and as I said earlier, 4 years ago today, we went through to a Champions League final, having beaten Ajax with that Lucas Moura hat-trick. What a moment that was. And when you think back to how pleased, that feeling that went through us all, unbelievable feeling to have, to even go in a final. So hopefully we will play well in these next 3 games, pick up as many points as possible, qualify for Europe, and then, of course, it is a huge summer ahead. Whoever does take over the managerial role, whether it be Ryan Mason or somebody else, what a huge job they've got, because, of course, all these loan players will be coming back. Harry Kane's future, there is, director of football. We haven't got one of those at the moment. So lots needs to, happen. And a lot of decisions need to be made. It'll be interesting. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, come on, you Spurs.